All right, so today we're going to talk about should you or should you not meditate? So, quick answer should be yes. The long answer, maybe. Um, I will say I started meditating when I was around, say, 15 years old, maybe 14. Or I can go into the story why I started, but that'll be a completely different video and a longer video too. But I just started by picking up some books, at Barnes and Nobles. I would read the books because I couldn't afford them at Barnes and Nobles, and I would try to memorize them. But one of the first books I got, as you can see, is The Roots of Qigong, The Secrets of Health and Longevity. It's quite a long book, but it has has a couple meditation techniques in there, focusing on, your stomach and whatnot, your dantian, and trying to increase the longevity of your physical body. I practiced this for quite some time, and other meditation techniques as well. I didn't really know what I was doing, to be honest. Sometimes I would have these intense meditation sessions. It was literally like I was almost in a different world, and it really opens up your mind. Now, here's what I'm going to talk about why it's not such a good thing. Point number one. I didn't write a list, so I don't know how many points are going to be in this one. I feel things much differently than most people now. So I didn't know this for a long time, but part of the Qigong meditation I used to do and other meditations I used to do are technically a part of Vipassana meditation. That kind of meditation, it actually lets you explore different parts of your body, really feel internally what's going on in your body, like during any such like sensation. Now, at the time, I didn't know that there's another level higher than that. I learned how to feel really deeply some of my internal organs, my extremities, obviously, that one's easy, and different parts of my body. Now, the bad thing is that if you feel more, you feel more. So whenever I'd feel bad physically, I'd feel much worse than someone else. Whenever I feel good physically, I'd feel much better than someone else. So I became extremely sensitive to like light, sounds, food, everything. Like there's a point where like I couldn't even be in the same room like with Wi-Fi, and it just made me feel not very good at all. And then this is something that other meditators will attest for too. It's just not me, especially if you're meditating on like your physical aspects of your body. You'll be able to tell everything physical. Like if you eat something bad, you'll physically know. Like immediately, like this is not good. Like this is something's not right, and it's not. You would probably think that it was like paranoia. It wasn't. So that's a downside. See, now the upside of that is that by exploring those sensations, if you explore them enough, you learn to be indifferent towards them. So you'll be able to recognize the sensation and be able to move on from that. Like if it's good or bad, you'll be objective and you'll be like, okay, that's a sensation, period. And you won't have to label it as good or bad. Have I gotten there yet? No, but it does exist. Second part of meditation. This is also the downside. You'll be able to see a bit more. You'll be able to. There's one thing when it comes to faith where you have a belief that like, okay, there's something more out there. Yeah, there's definitely something more out there. Or maybe it probably is. And there's one thing that when you know that there's something more out there. And the problem with that is that some of the meditation states I would get into would be extremely blissful. You would be on cloud nine for like a day or two, or maybe 3 days, or more than that. And the problem with this is that when you know there's something more out there, something that is only attainable through literally just following your own breath or exploring different meditation exercises, it kind of kills your ambition. Your ambition, as in for like your physical life, as in like you won't have this nearly the same ambition. You won't have that belief that I need to have this car, I need to have this house, I need to have this girl to be happy. You won't have that anymore. You'll always know internally, no matter how much of that stuff is presented in your life, that this will not make you truly happy. And that's the downside because there's been times where I have invited that kind of energy in my life because I wanted that to be true, even though deep down I know it wasn't. And I knew this at the age of like 16, probably. I think 16 is like really when I got really, really into it. And that could be a detriment because, your friends, your family, your loved ones, and whatnot, they're going to be more, they're going to be like, why aren't you trying this hard on that? Because the thing is, like, I work really hard for things I want. The problem is that I don't want a lot of things that are usually physical. And if you don't want things that are physical, what they will not understand your driving motivation behind it then, because they're like, what do you mean you just want to meditate all day, or what do you mean you just want to explore spirituality all the time? Because you know for a fact it won't make you happy. I mean, when people have these big cars, or it's easier to work for material things like getting a new promotion, a new job, and whatnot, when you believe that, oh, this is going to make me happy. Oh, this is definitely going to make me happy. Oh, I thought I was happy with my last promotion or my last job or my last car, but this will definitely make me happy. That other one didn't make me happy for whatever reason, maybe for like a 0.5 seconds, and then you keep chasing it. Now, with meditation, it teaches you that you don't need to chase anything to be happy. So again, that could be a detriment or a positive. That one is kind of neutral. Let's see the other ones. Other than feeling things and seeing the world a lot more differently. Oh, this is a tough one too. So when you meditate, you see the world much more differently. When you really get into meditation, there's two parts of meditation. There's the part of meditation where you just focus on your breathing, and you could just leave it at that. You could just focus on your breathing. It will improve your life no matter what. It will improve your life as far as being more objective to situations. But if you focus on the impermanence of things and how things cause other people to suffer, it's a lot harder to relate to normal people. It's almost alienating, as in something will happen and you won't have the emotional response that a normal person would have. Like, this is kind of personal, but I view kind of the world in flames. So when something bad happens, like I love animals, and a friend of mine, her cat died. And I love this cat. Like, I try to take care of it. I gave it food. I snuck it tuna when no one was watching. And, I love this cat too, but the love that I felt is much different from most people. She was sad about it, and the other people in the house were sad about it. And for me, I wasn't sad. I was just hoping I was in a better place. And that's a little off-putting to some people when you view things that way, because for me, I'm no longer under illusion that things are permanent. People really only get upset when they view things as permanent, and reality tells them, yeah, this isn't permanent. Like, what? No. So people have this way of lying to themselves or tricking themselves that, things go or things die and whatnot. And for me, I've always been prepared for that. So I never really feel any kind of sadness in that kind of sense. So again, it's a little hard to relate to people. People get really entangled in these ideas and these kind of formations, these mental formations, and you just can't really get with that anymore. Like, it's just you'll go into like a family's house, and they'll be watching a football game or a basketball game or some kind of sports, and they're getting really into it, really fired up about it. Some people actually really get upset about if their team doesn't win, and it's like, is this bringing you peace? Does this bring you happiness? It's hard to really understand that, and it's really hard to be around those people. The only way to be around those people is that if you try to emulate their behavior and you kind of bring yourself down to their level. So as you can imagine, I don't have many friends, which is probably the fifth or fourth point. I lost track now, making meditation sound terrible. But anyways, let's try to focus more on the positive. Positive about meditation, you will look at the world differently. The things that do upset people will not necessarily upset you whatsoever. Like loss, death, and change no longer really upset me anymore, because I know they're a fact. I know they're just gonna happen. So you kind of just roll with it. Like, times are good now. I can pay my bills. I have food in my stomach. I can walk, and everything's fine. And will that always be the case? I know it will not always be the case. And I've come to terms with that. I have not gotten attached to my current state because I know this state is not permanent. So that gives you some solace. It gives you some peace. Another aspect of meditation that's good is you're much better at helping people. I will say that you're much better at helping people, as in you can objectively approach any situation without your biases that you would normally have. Because there's sometimes, like when family members or people that you're entangled with that have issues, and you might not believe it, but you might have some personal agenda behind the issues that they're having. So I don't appreciate when someone comes to me with an issue or a problem. I no longer think of like, how can I make this suit me, or how can I make this go in my way that I can benefit? And some people think like it just makes it much easier to help people. It makes it way much easier to help people. Like when someone's crying or sad about something, you'll have much more wisdom in approaching that situation. By you getting emotionally, entangled or more emotionally invested in that situation, if someone's crying, and you could just know to give them their peace. Usually when you're sad, crying isn't going to really alleviate anyone else's pain. That's just that. It's just honest, it's just, and has made me more, this is the third thing. It's made me stop throwing gasoline on fires. There's a positive. I used to be a little antagonistic. I'm not gonna lie. You wouldn't expect it, but I was. Or, I could definitely always make a situation worse with my mouth because I was not the nicest person in the past. And it makes you step back from that and think of like, I could say this really witty thing that's really, really smart, but it makes the situation worse. But it's funny, but it makes the situation worse. So you can take a step back and be like, I'm going to not do that and instead try to fix the situation. So, someone has a disagreement with me, I'm like, I can make this 10 times worse, by just getting a little quip there, a little jab there. But like, what's the point though? I'm making this other person upset. It's not going to help me in the long term. So I just don't do it anymore. I no longer throw gasoline on fires. I kind of just let them burn themselves out, because, like when, there's a couple of days ago, I was in the line at Kinko's, or it was Office Max actually, and I was waiting for something to get printed out, and I sent it to the wrong email, so I had to get on my phone and send it to the right email. And there's a guy behind me. He was like, "Oh, now you're gonna make everyone wait now, aren't you?" And I was just like, I could easily come, turn around, say something. You guys might know, but I'm much bigger than I appear to be on camera. So I could have said something. I could have been intimidating. I could have got up in his face or something like that. But I said nothing at all. I continued to do my work. I paused. And the thing is that the store got really quiet after the guy said that. So what that was going to do was probably give the guy to self-reflect on what he said. And maybe in the future, think about like what he did or what he said, because by reprimanding him there or saying something, he was already upset. I could tell he was already upset. There was nothing I could have said that would make that situation better. Nothing at all. So therefore, I just let the whole, everyone in the store being dead quiet, staring at him, being the reprimanding that he needed, or the reprimanding that he needed. Society will do that for me. I didn't have to do anything at all. So anyways, meditation, stop throwing gas on fire. But yeah, I think that's probably the positives. I know the negatives seem to outweigh the positives, but I assure you that it's a worthwhile endeavor, and it'll definitely change your life. What it really does, it just makes, basically it sharpens the knife of your mind. It just makes whatever you want to focus on, you get much better at it. For me, it's objectively viewing reality. If you want to apply it to mathematics, science, any kind of research, anything like that, your mind will become crystal clear, super focused on that. So you just have to choose where you want the tool to go. So meditation literally will help your life out, whatever you're doing. So there's that. Anyways, thank you for watching. I know this is a long video.